welcome back to this game. This is episode 6.
5.
It's called Distant Nights. I almost forgot for a moment. So,
Good start.
yeah, it's wonderful.
This is going well. I think it's episode 5 as well, if I'm not.
No, it's 6. So,
Is it 6?
Yeah.
Have you finally fixed your numbering system?
yeah, I look at the number I have, take one off it, and there you go. It says 7.
Alright.
So, Lilo, you want to do a recap? You've been...
Why me? I'm not the captain.
Exactly, but you've been...
And I don't have my notes.
Yeah, he doesn't have his notes, so you've been volunteered to do a recap.
But I wasn't there half of the time.
Oh, that's fine.
That's true.
Yes!
That is fair, to be fair.
Oh, you can do half the recap then. Okay, Night Cable, you do a recap up until she arrived.
Okay, well, we continued fighting those robots.
Okay, there we go. Right, Lilo.
Yeah. That was funny. Lilo did panic attack.
Yeah, I did panic attack.
It was super
We
effective.
found some.
It was super. I was about to say.
We found some hard drives. I think it was 100 or
Yes.
so.
200?
I don't know.
We have
A lot. And basically, we came back onto the ship, did a quick EVA outside of ship walk. Don't ask me.
Extravehicular activity.
Exactly. And then I think most of the people tried to understand the hard drives while we were flying into, I don't know, nothing.
Not nothing, but good call.
Yeah.
You're going
We
to...
had no goal, and a lot of people were trying to figure out how these hard drives work.
Well, it was just 2 of them, but you go into a digit
Yeah,
system,
just
yeah.
2 of us.
So,
And then we ended with you shooting a wall.
yes, there was not shooting walls, shooting targets.
I was shooting targets, and I hit it, still, even though I was drunk.
Yes. So, that's an idea. I think alcohol should just give you the nauseated condition. Okay,
Depends
so
how much you drink.
no, the second you
why
even
the fuck-
smell it gives you nauseated.
Why is Seraph on the main star map there?
I was just trying to note down what HP I had gotten. I didn't note it down on my character sheet because I couldn't. But I did change it.
Planet.
I did change it in the thing, so.
Alright, so
he's-
it's not just a new galaxy that's appeared.
No, he's just
No,
a
I'm
thick
not- I'm-
boy.
Yeah, celestial being.
He's so thick he has to be written on the fucking helmet.
mom's
My
so
headphones are on. So,
She becomes a celestial body. Yeah.
So, I believe where we left off is just as Kit had managed to get into the, had managed to get a connection to the drive.
And he had been drinking heavily and was now going down to join the firing.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, as
Firing chain.
you head down to the others where they've been firing away in the area that looks out over the over the hangar.
If I remember correctly, one shot off and Lexie just decided to go and speak to Ray about that.
I mean, yeah.
You can certainly try.
Right, Ray, what the fuck are you doing? Oh,
Nothing. She's aiming again,
Okay.
trying to shoot her last shot on the target.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Wait, by the way, so where are we again? But because I think I misheard it, and I think I fell asleep at the end of last session.
How did you
Oh,
not
really?
listen to the
Hangar of the
recap that
ship.
just happened?
I didn't hear it.
we're on a spaceship to a random system.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you're in the Netherlands. Your name is Rai'Tarwek, and like how much didn't you hear? Because you clearly have no idea what's going on.
Only the
damn it.
last part.
Rai'Tarwek is what I said.
Yep.
I actually rolled a 2 and a 1. What the fuck?
Okay.
Better not be my ship.
I mean, it's not going to damage the ship because, like, when you create targets, it creates basically a holographic lining against the back wall in case you miss, but you don't hit the target. You do. Yeah, it, like, embeds in the wall. Not into the wall, into the lining, but it's clear that you definitely did not hit that shot.
Ah, shit.
He's gonna roll up and take out his pistol and shoot the target.
Okay, go for it.
No,
Just-
do not shoot. Do not shoot, Kit.
Kit,
No,
go ahead and make an attack roll.
Stop. We need to have a wee talk about this before any more shots.
Go ahead and make an...
Just stop.
14. Yeah, Kit, you managed to hit the target. Sort of roughly
That's not-
centered.
But just the
Possible.
pistol is just like as he walks away. It's like be back with waifu. BRB.
Do not bring waifu in here.
It's a bit of an escalation, don't you think?
Ray's aiming again.
Shooting guns.
What is your problem?
Not on the ship.
Charlissandra starts throwing knives.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll with your knife. Rick.
Seraph is just gonna
Hold on.
Be
That's
dexterity.
a dex.
Yeah.
Let's see. CHS nano knife.
Can Ray try to shoot the knife that is flying?
Where the fuck did my...
Not really.
money? There, this is
Yeah.
nice.
Then she's just
Okay.
shooting the target again.
Okay, go ahead and
Yes.
make an attack roll.
What is the bonus if I'm proficient with it?
It's a proficiency.
I mean, if I have the weapons... No, wait, that's something else.
Weapon skill
What's the
lets you
bonus
do
for a
it,
CHS knife?
but there's no bonus because of the knife.
Oh.
It's just basically it's dexterity.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's a 13. Is that an anti-crit? Yeah, that
Yeah.
hits. You throw your knife and it embeds into the target. It's not like a bullseye or anything, but it hits it.
What about
For the love
what
of
about
God,
night shot?
stop shooting. I'm
Oh,
throwing knives.
16. Yeah, you hit. It's a bit better. Again, still not quite a bullseye, but you hit it.
Finally.
So, sorry, Lexie, I just had to do it once.
Just stop for a couple of seconds so we can talk about this, okay? Guns down.
Ray is just annoyingly looking at Lexie with this kind of "Why are you interrupting me?" face.
Guns down, stand up, please.
He's comes out of the channel. Just sup.
If you shoot a single gun, we're gonna have a problem here, Kit.
Do it, Kit. If you want to attack,
By the way,
make your attack roll.
He doesn't actually. He's like, Captain. By the way, I managed to get some of the data off the hard drives.
Can we
You're
deal with
really-
this after I deal with the people shooting at my ship?
I mean, thought it was kind of
That's
racist,
great, but I'd rather not have someone shoot at my ship at the moment.
but- Okay.
Right then,
Fine.
Guys.
You're weird.
please. Couple of things. One, if you're going to shoot guns, don't just suddenly start shooting them. At least give me a warning. Two, don't shoot guns on the ship, especially high-powered ones. Oh. By the way, Tom, how
Yes?
strong would that hologram be?
I mean, it can move shuttles. It's like very commonplace to use the hangar as the shooting range.
Like, it can stop, like, high-powered rail guns and chain lasers and all that, then.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to stop them, but it'll do enough to stop them doing any damage. Essentially.
Right.
Because it puts like a foot-thick layer of just armor. It's like constant EA, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, basically, imagine like 30 EA that always rolls a hit, or a decrease. It's like that. It's gonna like just knock off a shit ton of flat damage, essentially, because it's basically exactly what it is.
Right. But it's still, like, chipping the walls, etc.
No. because they're not doing any damage. Because you literally can't go
Oh,
high
right,
enough to
that's
beat
fair.
it at the moment. It's a flat. It's essentially
Right.
it's a flat damage reduction of quite a lot.
Yeah.
We're not damaging anything. This is normal, regular procedure. Come on, Captain.
The problem isn't that you're shooting. The problem is, the first thing I heard about this shooting is when I heard a railgun go off. If I knew you lot were going to be shooting, I would have been
Okay,
fine
I'm
with
gonna
it.
be shooting now. And that's it.
Go for it. Make your attack roll.
Kit,
I do the same as Kit.
Okay. Go ahead, make your attack rolls.
By the way,
I
uh,
turn
you
gravity
hear,
off.
you hear like the most monotone laugh from the background as Seraph is just watching
God,
this
Kit.
fucking unfold.
Tom, can I get my data slate out and turn gravity off quickly?
If you
Oh,
want to
this is
disable
still
gravity
double
throughout
crit.
the entire ship, I suppose. Is that an... Yeah, that's a crit, so it's +1, so it's 28.
No, it's a 10 and a 12.
Yeah, it's super crit, but which hits, does double damage, but it... Oh, right, yeah, so double damage, so it's not... It's a +1, doesn't... So it's not... it's +2, even, so 20... Yeah, 29, which is Kit. That is 19 degrees of success. No, it's not, that's 20 degrees of success.
So I hit with all.
You hit with all of them, that's 20 d4.
I'm gonna...
Times 2.
No!
20d4. 20d4. Holy shit.
This is why!
I'm gonna go around the corner just in case he's about to make a hole.
As you start unloading the chain laser into it, you see the target is just sort of shredded, and it does leave a little bit of a scorch mark on the back wall. Like, the kind of scorch mark you could probably scrub off in like 30 seconds, but it did manage to just about get through. That's...
What happens with Race?
With Ray's... oh god, and that's a 20 as well. So yeah, again, as that's happening, Ray, your shot hits the target. It manages to absorb most of the shot, but there is a slight tink as it hits the back wall.
There we
Nice.
buff out, Captain.
No chain lasers in here if you're shooting. After that, no. No.
You see his kind of just fall asleep.
Lexie has got her head in her hands.
I bet he wakes up if you try to take the chain laser from him.
Another full like.
Right. No shooting for the moment, please. Just calm down. Right. No shooting on my ship. If we want to do shooting, I'm more than happy to buy a bit of metal or something to put behind the screen as a secondary backup.
Come on.
So you can
It's
scorch the wall
fine.
again.
It's fine.
Well,
I
it's
look
fine
at the
if you're not
scorch in the
shooting.
wall.
If you're not shooting with a chain laser, it's fine.
No, it's not fine. Okay? Until the metal please don't. Second thing, tell me the next thing you're shooting. Okay? Just tell me.
Captain, can I
I
shoot?
fucking panic attack when I heard an explosion.
Captain, I'm asking for permission to shoot. She's turning around, shooting again.
Go for it.
I hadn't given it yet. No.
Yeah, it's not a great shot. You don't have time to, but I mean, it does hit
The
the target.
gravity will be off at the moment, by the way.
You would not be able to have that kind of
Would it not?
control. Not that kind of control with the from your data slate. You can just about get
Damn it.
forwards, backwards, up and down from the data slate. You're not getting much more than that.
Do you guys
Damn
know, like, from New York, got the Gmo? I mentioned the gravity changer from there. Just like, oh no.
Not quite.
Ah.
Also, that would disrupt all sorts of shit throughout the ship's systems and cause absolute fucking pandemonium if you just randomly disable the ship's gravity.
Would it?
Yeah, it's sort of advisable not to do that unless you want shit literally flowing backwards out of the toilets. Because that will happen. And it will come out the sink. And it will come out the sink. And it will come out the shower. And, you know, like, the fuel lines will cut off. And the power's probably gonna have some issues. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I forgot about all of that. Just assuming you would pressurize some of this stuff that was fine, but no, obviously not.
No, I mean, to a degree, but if you just disable the gravity without going through, like, all sorts of systems and putting in failsafes, no. Most of the ships are built with the assumption that the gravity is not going to go out, because the gravity almost never goes out.
He's out crawling his way back into his room.
Okay.
Ray is shouldering her sniper, also going into her room. Okay,
Ray?
Captain, thank you for
Ray?
permission. Bye.
Ray, stop.
She's just straight walking past you.
Lexie will follow her and put her hand on the gun.
Okay, Ray's punching Lexie as soon as he's touching the gun.
Go for it. It's strength.
You're about to
but-
hit your captain.
Yeah,
You're
Strength?
about to hit your
that'll be
captain.
strength, yeah.
Holy shit.
Can I try to stop her?
I mean, you can.
Lexie is going to avoid this if possible, so... yeah. No.
You're not wearing armorless.
It's still 14.
Okay. 14. If that doesn't beat your agility.
Just
Yeah,
give me
wait.
the gun.
Do you have 15 agility?
I've got
5 agility,
4
right?
agility, so it's 4 agility at the moment.
Oh, so it does hit.
No, that's 13.
What? Oh, sorry, I thought you said
I
it was
rolled a
14.
Plus
13.
1 somewhere.
Sorry, I thought you said it was a 14. I can't see the screen right now.
No, it's 13 versus 14.
Right, okay. Yeah, then yes, it doesn't hit. Sorry. She goes to punch you, but you manage to just duck out of the way.
Right. Ray, give me the
Never
gun.
touch. Never.
I'm still holding on to the gun at the moment. Right.
Not that she.
I will give you the gun back tomorrow. when
She's
you're
also
sober.
like grabbing her gun. Never touch my sniper.
Ray is...
Ah.
Never.
I'm still holding it. Just give me the gun.
She's trying to kick
Give
you.
it back to you tomorrow.
Go ahead and make another attack, Ray.
Strength again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
As Kit is kind of walking by, Kit is gonna see if is there anything, any booby traps on the gun?
Any what?
Booby traps.
Make a perception, so wisdom check. Wait, is that again a 13, Ray? Or did you roll
No, roll
That's
again.
an 11.
an
Oh,
11?
that's an 11.
Bye.
Sorry, my roll 20's just crashed. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I don't see it either. Oh,
It's lagging a bit today.
yeah, my roll 20 is also just there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Hex.
That's it back.
Crit fail. Yeah, you do not see any.
I see 3 rifles.
Yeah. No, you don't see any. And again, the kick misses.
What would it be to pull the gun out of our hand?
Opposed grapples for strength, I suppose.
Okay, Lexie's going to do that.
All right.
Let's see how badly this goes.
Crit fail versus. Ray, I need you to make a strength check.
Come on, double ones, double ones.
Strength.
Yes, to oppose this.
Snake eyes. Snake eyes.
Come on, stay guys.
Double ones, but not the one you were looking for in the 11 there. Unfortunately, yeah, no. Lexie,
I don't even
as
see
you
it.
try and pull, she managed to just pull it out of your grasp.
Now she's
Ray?
just going to her room without saying
Ray?
anything.
Do not shoot another shot tonight.
Yeah.
Shoots one as soon as she wakes up.
She's not going to do that. She's just going straight to her room, ignoring everyone who's
Lexie grabs a bottle of whiskey and goes to her room.
Okay. So, everyone departs to their own rooms. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I like wipe off the fucking scorch mark first.
Okay, yeah, it takes you like basically 2 seconds as you just wipe it off with your thumb.
What a destroyed wall.
It's like slightly carbonated. Not carbonated. Yeah, carbonated. Oxidized. Fucking, that's the word. And you just sort of
You're
wipe it
shitting
off.
on Lexie's shit! What'd you mean to do?
just like when
Practically give her a heart attack!
you just like licks her tongue and they're like.
So, you all leave the data things unattended for the evening then? The hard drives?
Yep.
Okay. Alright. So, okay.
Why do you
Mine
say
is
that
kinda
in such
still
a
just
weird
running.
manner?
You what, Hex?
Mine is still running kind of up in the eating area.
Yes, you got
So just
you got
pulling
one.
data off it.
You got one connected. Okay. Alright. So, you guys sort of pack it in for the evening, and sort of ship time. The lights dim as they do with the day-night cycle, and eventually, effectively, morning comes around, and you all awake. Who's the first
Comes
one into
around
the
first.
cafeteria in the morning?
Probably. Unless someone is really up early, kid is gonna
Well, I don't
wake up
really.
early.
I mean,
Pretty
Charlissandra.
sharp as well.
Charlissandra will be early, but not extremely early.
Seraph doesn't
probably
really
kid
need to sleep,
would.
so
Ray, meanwhile, is sleeping the longest.
Yeah. Seraph? Yeah.
Lexie would also be up pretty sharp, I would imagine, just make
Okay.
sure things.
So,
Yeah.
who's first then?
probably me.
Probably. Okay. Well, you don't have to eat, so I don't know if you'd bother, but
Well, yeah, because I'm not really sleeping, so
yeah, true.
it's charging.
Yes, but into the what do you call it? I mean, into the cafeteria. Do you go into the cafeteria at all?
No, I'd probably be in the workshop, just trying to still tinker with the stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't be in the cafeteria. My bad.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. In that case, then Kit or Lexie, who's up first?
Probably kid.
Kit.
He's
All right.
gonna
There you go.
immediately after wakes up and
Right, okay.
up and continue work.
Kit, when you walk in, you notice that the hard drive you had hooked up to your data slate is a molten pile of slag.
Huh.
It seems to have completely melted overnight.
Wait, what? What's melted?
The hard drive
hard
that he'd
drive.
hooked up to his data slate
Damn.
seems to have just melted into a bit of a puddle. It sort of melted slightly into the table and busted some of the wires that you used to hook up to it. But I mean, it doesn't seem to have been enough to have hit to have affected the data slate. It seems to be quite like a slow process that happened overnight.
I'm gonna check the data that I got off it.
Uh,
Yeah, just basically copy everything, put it onto the.
yeah, you try and access it, but there isn't any.
Huh.
You try and turn the data slate on. Nothing happens.
Can I roll technical digital to see what's wrong with the?
Yeah, go
data
for it.
slate? Natural one.
Well,
1-1. Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
Is that
super
super critical
super
fail.
crit fail. Yeah.
wow?
You try you try and turn
That's
it
a
on and
first,
you look it
isn't it?
over and
No.
I mean
Wait, is it?
I mean,
no,
yeah.
it's not. There's been a few, but physically it seems fine. But like it just doesn't seem to want to work. So you try and you try and turn it on and you can't even get it to respond at all. The screen won't light up. Nothing seems to happen no matter what you do.
Huh.
But you can't figure out why.
Is this like warm or hot? Or is it cool down?
No, it's perfectly fine. It's
I-
like cold metal that's sort of fused to the table now.
Okay, so it is fused in metal.
Yeah, it's sort of fused to the table just because it melted onto it.
I'm like, damn it, that's gonna kill me. I think like
I'm
one
going
of
to kill
the-
you. Why am I going to kill you? I would imagine I'm in about that time.
Sure.
Turns around and tries to hide the mark with his body. Nothing. Smells of coffee.
Have you now?
Yep.
Why do I not trust you?
Well, okay, the hard drive may have been bugged with my something weird happened. Hard drive
What do you
kind of
mean?
turned to slug. Like
Let's see.
I'm showing the.
I
slide.
noticed I was muted. I imagine Charlissandra probably walks in at this point, like, morning.
Okay,
So,
sure.
Oh, no.
start walking. Kids start walking out.
Yeah, as you
Charlissandra comes in and just like, this is an opportunity. Work.
What's with him?
see,
Lexie's going to go check the other hard drives.
I mean, they're in their boxes, still off. You didn't turn any on, right?
No, it didn't turn any on.
Turned
Yeah,
all of
but-
them on.
You cut one of them open. You cut one of them open, and you actually started, like, turned one of them on and activated it, and that's the one that seems to have melted.
Is only the one that turned on and activated.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the one that you actually started trying to get data off of seems to have slagged itself.
Is the table recoverable?
I mean, you've lost one seat at the table, but like it's mostly fine. There's just sort of a big hole in the middle with a lump of molten metal that's just sort of molten into said hole at the moment.
Is it like through the? What's the?
Kids? Okay,
What's
you gonna
the?
be-
What's the table made of, by the way?
I mean, like underneath it's actually metal, but then it's got like a kind of topping on it, so it's very similar to you know the type of tables you'd have in like a chemistry lab.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So it's got this kind of like hard plasticky type top over it, which seems to have been melted into, but the actual metal underneath seems to be like softened and like bowed a bit, but not actually melted in one place. It's mostly fine, but you're not going to be able to.
I'm gonna
use
go
that
down
bit.
and get a grinder as
Okay.
You get a message through saying, enjoy your new seat with a photo of it. As Lexie sits down and has her meal.
I immediately kind of just transferred over to Ray. The kind of side past it.
Ray's just sitting there.
I was gonna
giggling in
try
her
to
room.
make it look like it was actually Lexie that sent it to her.
Go ahead
Ray's
and make
just
a.
sitting in her room.
No, you can't really do that. You could forward it.
Yeah, okay, then never mind.
Because it's kind of like an email, I guess.
Yeah.
Or it would show up like an email or like a Discord message, so there's not really much way to spoof it.
Ray's sitting in her room, standing up, going into the canteen, sitting next to Lexie. So, and you said my shots yesterday were bad.
Oh,
Ray's just looking at the hole, looking at Lexie again.
that wasn't me. I've just had very bad luck the last couple of days, as it turns out.
Over our best crew.
Ray's texting to Kid, good job.
Thanks. He comes in the door with like a welder and like grinding gear. Like, yeah, thanks. And then goes over to the try to like at least flatten it out.
Kid, you do that once I've finished my breakfast.
I'm
Ray's just
Fucking-
sitting there
I
laughing.
just
Fuck-
want
fucking
metal in my
Lexi's-
breakfast.
Lexi's breakfast is full of metal filings.
basically on
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
So,
Where's the nearest star?
Okay,
so what are you-
You do that, and he walks out.
what are you actually
at
doing,
least-
Kit?
At least your supply of iron in your blood should be okay.
Kid is like setting the welding gear like, down right next to where he's going to. He's like, you know what, Lexie, then you can do it. Fuck it, you can do it. And it works out.
Okay.
And then he goes down to
Lexie
the hard
looks at
drive
her
and starts
data
working.
slate and tries to find the nearest star.
I'm just watching this scene, laughing.
You guys sort of en route to a star system. So that one
Great, I can crash into that one.
got an hour or two left on the jump.
Right. Once everyone's finished breakfast, Lexie will start trying to fix the chair.
If you want, I can eat
Table.
the Mel Scrap cereal, because I think should be able to digest that. Nom nom nom.
Ah, yes, crunch, crunch. Metal.
Crunch, crunch. Metal, yeah.
Best meal you've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Okay, so,
that aluminium?
how are you going to try and fix it?
Is it fixable?
I mean, not really.
Can I 3D print a new seat?
Well, I mean, you could, but the chair's fine. It's not the chair that's the issue. It's the table.
Is the table part like?
Yeah, which is like built into the wall and stuff.
You know, fuck it. I'll pay someone. I'm just going to pay someone. And just walk out.
Okay.
Just nope. Not my problem. Can I go look at the other hard drive and see why the other melted?
The one you cut open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you go find it. The first thing you note when you find it is that all of the discs appear to have been like, as if they were made of like iron and had been left underwater for about like 200 years. They are like covered in like an inch of rust in each direction. All of them.
Okay.
And so is like all of the interior of this thing. The whole thing appears to have massively oxidized. To the point where it's hard to tell what bits are what, and there's sort of like wires have like come loose where they didn't oxidize, but the bit under them did. And it's sort of just a mess. Yes.
What are the rest of the hard drives? Are they fine from the outside?
Yeah, they look fine.
I'm gonna
We're in a box.
It is also like basically before Lexie finish her breakfast, we'll walk down and start working on it as well. Can I put up like a kind of like a tarp system over all the hard drives? Basically like
what do you
air. Basically, he wants to air seal it basically and replace the gas that they are.
Well, they're in a crate. I believe you guys put them in a crate, so you could. Yeah. The crates would be able to vac pressure themselves.
Okay, so I just want to basically fill it up with, I don't know, nitrogen or something like that.
Right.
Basically,
Okay.
and then gas.
You'd probably be able to use like xenon or something.
Yeah.
Probably got
xenon.
Oh no, you wouldn't have xenon. You could use
helium.
You wouldn't have. Yes, you
nitrogen.
would. Cause...
I assume we would have nitrogen on the ship.
Well, you've got nitrogen in the air. Yeah. You could probably get helium.
Like a tank of...
You would actually have a tank of helium because you're making it in your fusion reactor.
Yeah.
So you could use that.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a tank of nitrogen.
I mean, you probably. It's probably
not. Remember though.
It's probably not pure nitrogen. Also, yeah, nitrogen is not an inert gas on its own. But N2 is essentially inert. You could use nitrogen, yes. You would probably you'd have to basically run it through a pipe.
Gas that easiest way to get just remove the of it rusting. And I'm gonna try to get if I can roll chemistry to figure out what the rusted thingy are. Is it iron? Is it what?
Go ahead and make a chemistry check.
Proficiency.
I'm currently under my bed looking for a thing that just fell down the back. So tell me
that.
the result.
13 with a 1.
13. Just looking at it, you can't really tell. You sort of have to, like, at a guess, it's probably a really heavy element. As in something in Island of Stability. Like, maybe one of those? Just based on... Like... Yeah, just based on a couple tests. But, like, it seems to have oxidized. You're not sure exactly what element, but it's one of those. Those, like, super heavy metals that seems to have oxidized. But you're not sure the exact element. Unfortunately, not with that roll.
Would PCBs be gone as well, or are they...
The what?
Unusable? PCBs, etc.
There weren't any.
There weren't any, alright.
No.
So, what do you want to do, Lexie? We can.
Right.
Well, that's well and truly lost. I've lost the thing.
Okay, you said you got some data off of it to some degree.
Yeah, but apparently my data slate has been fucked.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong. It doesn't. Do you want to take a look at it?
Okay.
Have you tried turning it off and on again? That sometimes helps, right? Helps.
We'll
No,
try
that's
that in a
fried.
moment, possibly.
Yeah,
Does it look
I have
like
my
it-
data slate over.
that's all I know.
Data.
Looks fine from the outside.
What? The data?
Data slate. Data slate looks fine.
No, I'm talking about the data on it though. Like
Right.
the Tico
doesn't.
covered.
It doesn't boot. The data slate doesn't boot. You can't,
Oh, right.
like, the power button doesn't do anything. And it is
Can
off.
we open it up?
You can, but it voids the warranty.
We open it up.
Yeah, you open it up.
I think at this point Lexie wouldn't have any data slates with a warranty left then.
Probably not. Yeah, you open it up. On the inside, everything seems fine.
Okay. Is the hard drive able to be taken out, or is it
They don't have
burned
a,
older?
they don't have a hard drive.
Like the SSD or whatever?
The crystalline storage in it is sort of built into it. You can't remove it.
Right. Does it look like it might have been over-voltaged or whatnot?
No, it as said, it looks completely fine. You don't see anything like physically wrong with it at all.
Right.
Thank you, Net Cable.
Anything to see if you can find anything at all, or is it just fucked?
What do you mean?
Like, can she roll digital or whatnot to try and find anything?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and make a digital.
Go digital.
Yeah, tech digital check.
It could just be like a precaution system. That, like, if someone tries to access it beyond a certain point.
It strikes you that whatever it is, it doesn't appear to be hardware based. It appears to be something with the software. So you try plugging it in, essentially like setting it physically to be a slave drive and plugging it into a different data slate. There is no data on it.
Oh, it's been wiped completely.
It's completely wiped. Not even like reading like zeros and ones, and doesn't know where to find them. It is all set to null. Every single bit of data has been set to a null value.
Oh, that sucks.
So it's essentially a zero.
Yes, it has bricked your data slate. This data slate.
Well, there wasn't anything important in that.
Those discs.
Sorry?
There's yeah.
Uh,
As in,
would I have any contacts that I know could get the data off of, like, drives, etc. in this area, or no?
No.
Like specialists or whatever?
I mean, you're also in an area of the galaxy you've not really been in much before. So
But,
especially
you know,
no.
someone might have known a guy who knows a guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, who knows a guy 3 months travel away? Not really.
Yeah, fair
Not
enough.
in a galaxy. No.
Do you think we could, like, ask our employer if they know someone who's a specialist?
Well, that employer's not been as much so far, but
Yeah.
worth a shot.
Yeah.
Lexie will open up the number
Okay.
and just go send him a wee message going, "Hey, we found some hard drives. Can't get any data off of them due to them wrecking data sheets if you plug them in for too long. But there's something good on that if you want them. Contact us if you want them. Right, bye." And hang up. Oh,
Okay.
that was brilliant timing with that ending.
It's a text line.
Oh, it's a text line.
Yes, you sort of ping it and it gives you a type essentially
Voice to text.
when you send the message out, and it is text. So yeah, you send that. There's
Am
no
I the only
immediate
one
reply.
that, like, my Discord completely fucking up?
No, my people are coming in and out for me as well.
Yeah.
It's mostly fine for me, but I'll move region if that's the case.
Yeah. Try
Which is weird because I'm on the same connection as you.
Yeah. Right, there. Hopefully that's a bit better. I've changed region. If not, there's not really
So
anything we
what's
could do. No, you'd still just cut out a bit there. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically Lexie's asking your employers if there was anything if they want these drives, essentially.
Yeah.
Lexie, there's no immediate reply. It takes about a minute or two before you do get one, but it pings back, retrieve the data.
As in, they're just ordering us to retrieve the data.
That's what
Yep.
you get back.
Okay, that's cunt.
Great. They don't have any contacts.
No, it's just that they probably don't want to help us just in case, like, loose ends or whatever.
You didn't ask them for contacts.
Yeah, we message later. Any contact to help?
Yeah, they do reply to that, and it is simply that's what we're paying you for.
Okay.
Another reply. Worth a shot.
Yeah, worth a shot.
Hopefully this
Yeah.
bar be enough, shall we? Right. So, far away from the bar are we? We from the system, sorry.
Oh, sorry. The Discord does seem to be having a bit of a moment. You can make it into the system. You actually will make it into the system after, basically a couple hours after breakfast, like about 2 hours after breakfast. So sort of pretty soonish you arrive.
Alright.
Sure.
Anyone want to do anything before we arrive, or is that everything?
You first, thanks. Ray is meanwhile, after eating her breakfast, cleaning her weapon from the touch of Lexie yesterday, because she's very annoyed that Lexie touched the weapon and she needs to clean the weapon.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. You.
Again, ear rape, but thank
Yeah,
you.
Lois, do you mind? Yeah.
Sorry.
You stripped out the weapon and clean every part very thoroughly over the next sort of 2 hours, and then very thoroughly clean it and make sure it's all in working order and perfectly clean, and put it all back together again. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right. Also, I'm gonna ask Kit or Lexie for help with the thruster project that I was gonna try to do.
Oh, right.
Because I still don't know anything. Like, I've done research, but have gotten nowhere.
I guess Kit can help you out.
You should ask Charlissandra. She's really good with that stuff.
Or are you fucking with me? Okay.
I mean, it'll be fun if you ask her.
I get this probably just in the workshop. I kind of tinkering away with the data and trying to figure out what the fuck the elements are and how that worked. So it's just asking him if you wanna.
Yeah, I mean, I can help you as well if you need any.
What's my role for helping him?
Well, what do you want to do specifically?
I want to try to figure out whether I can eventually attach these thrusters to me.
Right. Okay. Right.
Re-engineer them if possible.
I would say that would be engineering with advantage.
Okay.
Technical engineering on. Yeah, he would roll. If you're helping.
I would roll.
Actually, no. Yeah, either you roll with advantage or Kit rolls without advantage.
Okay, then I'll roll with advantage because I think that's probably better. It's technical engineering, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Okay. Submit. 5. Submit. There we go. All right, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a 20. Nice. Yeah, looking into this, you reckon you probably could do it. It would take quite a bit of work and rewiring. It would take a lot of work on the body, stuff you can't do yourself, so you'd need either someone trustable or pay someone a lot of money to do it. But
Right.
Probably pay someone a lot of money because it's
Would
going to be
Kit
very
count as
delicate
someone
work. I don't know. Does Kit count as someone trustable? But it would.
I mean, he would know as he knows what he's doing, so I assume so.
Well, my point
But
is,
is
do
he
you trust him?
trustable?
Yeah, that's
Either someone you trust
Yeah.
implicitly or someone you're paying a lot of money. But it is probably going to be very, very delicate work that's you're going to want done professionally is probably a good idea because it would be pretty hard to do to hook these in properly.
Right. Would I have any idea of
could
how
be.
much that would roughly cost?
A couple grand.
A couple grand.
One,
But I could.
2 or 3 grand to get it professionally done, I'd say. That sort of estimate, sort of.
If we took our time with it, as opposed to like trying to get it done as soon as possible, would it make the situation easier?
It would make the situation easier, but it would leave you without a body for that time. During the times it's being worked on, your body will be unusable.
Oh, okay.
I am quite delicate with my hands. That's, you know.
That's a good point. If let's say for like I convince Lexie to help, if Kit and Lexie were to modify me, how long would I or Kit think it would take?
To do it properly?
Yeah.
Kit, go ahead and make a just make an engineering check.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So your estimate will be quite good. You reckon it's probably gonna take like maybe 2 days of work for each thruster to get them wired in, and then overall all of the extra sort of programming to the base functions of the body and that kind of stuff is gonna take another week on its own.
Right.
So depends on how many thrusters you'll need. And you're looking at about 6 thrusters
Yeah.
to get any kind of acceptable like movement out of it. So it's
So
probably
it would
going to
be
take
6 days and then a week.
yeah, so 6 days plus 13 is probably going to take quite a while, essentially. Not 6 days. 12 days. So essentially 2 weeks. Just
2 weeks,
a
yeah.
day shy of 2 weeks, which is
Yeah.
After installing a trusted,
25 days.
Can you kind of split those up as in you program the code and that takes a week and then don't have any thrusters on and then he can
The thrusters
use
will need
body?
to be on first.
Okay, so but yeah, can you kind of split up so that if like you can do all the thrusters or a couple of thrusters and then he can use his body and then we can go back and fix more of them, or is it like he needs to not be even able to touch his body for those whole?
You could split the thrusters independently, like attach them, without being able to use them. The only problem is they may get. Oh, actually no, because you're going to have to wire them into as an input. So no, you probably would want to leave it. Like it could be doable. It would take an extra. It would probably add an extra day's work flat just in the time you'd have to sort of overall add the thrusters and then make sure they're not connected.
Right.
Yeah.
And then undo all of your safety blocks at the last stage. So the actual adding a code, doing the like wiring, like the final wiring and connecting everything, probably can take a bit longer, about a day's longer.
Right.
If you do it that way, you could do that. But again, if they get damaged at all or anything like that,
Well, I
then
mean
you'd
that would
have to
make
start
me
over.
that would allow me to be useful
Really?
Yeah.
for the durations where we're not working on it. So I think that would probably the extra day is
It's worth
acceptable to me. Yeah, it's
However,
worth it to me.
the 2 days will have to be continual. Well, they don't have to be continual, but the 2 days you're working on it, and it was 2 essentially full days of work.
Yeah.
That the two of you would be working on it, and this is assuming both of you working on it. It's going to be pretty difficult to do this regardless.
So would I need to remove myself from my body in that
Yes,
case?
you would have to be not in the body, and it would have to be completely drained of power and everything like that. It will have to be in its
Right.
maintenance state, which means you're not using it. It's got no power. It can't be used at all for the entire
Right.
time of each thruster being attached for those 2 days.
Is it possible for me to like hook up to the ship somehow so I can be like ship AI?
The ship can essentially run a VM, which gives you a screen.
Right.
And you get a text output and
Yeah.
a text input.
Right.
It is paramount to not only being in prison, but like in a sensory deprivation type prison. Like You can't feel, you can't hear, you can't taste, you can't see.
Well,
you
I
can't-
mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of those anyways. But like, besides seeing and hearing,
you wouldn't even be able
is there
to
no
see and hear.
like mics and speakers on the
Uh,
ship, right?
There are, however, it's specifically due to the way it's designed. Either you would hear everything, which would just drive you insane, all the time.
Well, I mean, I would hear everything as in everything that's surrounding the ship.
Everything surrounding and inside, and you'd also hear the engine noise, and you'd hear all of the senses at once. You wouldn't be able to just pick some.
Well, I mean, then again, wouldn't that mean that like isn't that the same thing as heart rate, where like you hear your heartbeat, but you get deprived of its in terms of its senses over time.
Not really. It's more like being able to hear everything that goes on in an entire building at once, all the time.
Couldn't
If
I
that makes
just
sense.
localize myself to one room?
It doesn't really work like that. I mean, the program to do it is specifically designed to be a virtual machine. It's designed for quarantine, in case an AI, any of the code goes wrong with it, or there's a threat of it. And it's actually designed as a quarantine measure so that you can be plugged into it and it can run through and check you haven't been infected with any viruses or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, so
Could we
you'd
get,
have to fiddle with that, essentially. So it might
get
be
soft light?
doable, but again,
A soft
it's
light
going to
body?
basically be imprisonment
That's
for a
gonna be
while.
expensive. Oh, I do have an alternate body.
Yeah.
It won't have my but it won't have my blade on it, which is kind of an issue. I'll only be able to use my gun in that case, and I will
Which one's your alternate?
No, I'm using. I believe. Wait 1 second. Let me check my sheet.
Because
I believe I'm using a pop heart mech, and I do have a blues hard mech.
Oh, well, yeah, you could
It's
just use
also-
that.
Yeah, it's also just more comfortable to stand there for. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I guess I'll
Much
just use
more.
my pistol from now on then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
so
like...
something we will do when we have time, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit more like wearing shit clothes while your nice suit is at the tailor's, as opposed to
Yeah.
being in prison.
Yeah. Would we have any just really shit melee weapons on board?
Not unless you bought them.
Okay.
I mean, you've got like a kitchen knife, which would be like -1 to hit and damage.
I mean,
But,
Charlissandra probably would have an old.
I
sword
don't
like
have knife fighting. I don't think.
if
Oh,
you...
yeah.
I think I've got an old scythe.
that. Charlissandra has an old
And
katana, probably.
in the
Oh,
worst case,
then
we
that
could also-
works.
In the worst case, we could also CNC a new sword, or just a blade.
Yeah, you could try and
Like,
build one.
basically just a steel. Yeah.
Fair.
Steel.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I have to.
Alright.
But we have time, I guess.
Yeah. Just tell us, Yargon, when we do have time.
Yeah, well, you've got time whenever you decide to take time, essentially. So, you guys eventually hear the sort of announcement, and kind of you feel it through a ship as the ship drops back into real space, and kind of on the edges of this what do you call it? On the edge of this digit system.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do?
How seedy does this system look?
It looks like a star system.
Okay.
What's
You
the?
can't really tell how seedy a system is until you like rock up to the station.
Right.
Is there a station? Is there, or is there like a city on the planet?
Yeah, there's not. It's
What
actually
is-
it's a mining facility. This one, if you remember what I said last time, it's got a breathable atmosphere, but it's a sort of a mining facility. Most of it's automated, but there's kind of a small area where they do a bit of trading, and it's the people who actually look after the machines, the miners, kind of live there, and yeah,
Can I fly to the trading post there?
yeah. It's the equivalent of an oil rig, basically. So there's not much here, but it's a big sort of mining platform, and it's got all these like mining drones, and it's just full of technicians essentially. And yeah, you make your way over. Your ship's not going to be able to land here, but you could take the shuttle down.
I will take the shuttle down then.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Be
What's the
honest.
kind of? What's the atmosphere? Kind of. What's the vegetation on the planet?
Have I been muted the entire time?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I was saying Charlissandra with an old katana lying around, probably.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we heard that.
Oh, okay.
I said thank you. I would actually like that if it comes to be that I need it. I would definitely like that. Thank you.
Okay.
So the atmosphere here is essentially Earth-like. The vegetation is not. It's much more sparse vegetation, as this the star here is smaller and dimmer than Sol. So it's a bit just less life overall. It's kind of a lot colder, near freezing most of the time, actually, by the look of it. Not quite freezing, but near freezing, like almost all the time at the equator. And there's a bit of plant life, but it quickly dies out as you go north or south of the equator.
Any bodies of water?
Yeah, there is water, again, at the equator. The ice caps on the planet are very, very big. But there's a sort of belt, maybe, like, sort of percentage, or if you go just top to bottom, like, if you were drawing it on, like, a flat map, it'd be like the middle, say, third of the map would be, like, terrain, essentially, normal terrain. But the top and bottom, like, thirds are kind of ice cap. And there is some bodies of water. There's a few, like, lakes and rivers and that kind of stuff. A lot coming down from the sort of meltwater from the ice caps, by the look of it.
Yeah, Kit will join Lexie in going down.
Yeah.
Who wants to go? I'm guessing everyone, or is someone wanting to stay on the ship?
What are we doing here again?
Pretty sure leave.
Somewhere to collect our thoughts, maybe get a bit of information, and hopefully it's either got leads on somewhere shady around here, or shady itself. Because we need someone on that side at the moment, I think.
What do we need?
To get these hard drives. Because I want to have a chat. That's and also shady people normally have some information that could be helpful.
Okay.
Okay.
No one want to stay behind?
No.
Nope.
Great.
We should say someone stay behind to make sure that the hard drives don't get stolen.
I mean, you're going to know about it if the hard drive gets stolen, because your ship will get stolen.
I'm gonna
Unless someone particularly knows you have there, in which case...
You never know.
There's a good chance your ship gets scuttled.
Lexie, do you want me to secure the ship?
I don't think that's going to be
Secure.
asked.
Who said? Did you say you secured the ship?
Yeah, do you want me to secure the ship?
What do you mean by that?
With explosives?
Make it a
Get
bit
in the
harder for
shuttle.
people.
Get in the shuttle. We'll secure the ship.
I could stay at
Understand.
the ship if you want. I mean, I can fly it just in case.
That's true.
If you want to come down, you can come down. If not, we might be a wee bit of time though. I think we'll end up in a pub at some point.
Okay, I'm in. I come with you.
Right.
Okay.
Right, so
Everyone's going down?
I will make sure Kit doesn't grant any welcome surprises for anyone.
I'm gonna put welcome surprise on the Wi-Fi, an extra one.
Okay. Is that an
And
extra
also
one?
an extra...
So is that a 4? Or is that an...
No, it's a 2.
Okay, it's that one. Right, okay.
Also, Ray is not only taking her sniper, but also the old Lingui book with her.
Alright, okay. So,
Right.
you guys, you'll pile onto the shuttle. I assume you're taking the larger shuttle.
Yeah, we'll take a larger stuff so in case we buy in.
Okay. In case you go buying furniture. Yeah, you pick up the shuttle and begin to make your way down. And yeah, as you come in, there's as I say, it's kind of this large, like raised platform that seems to have like all these vehicle bays and like lifts that bring the vehicles up off of the actual ground onto the platform. And that the platform itself, it's got like huge thrusters around the side, as if it's been dropped onto the planet from orbit and has landed itself, and these huge, like large hydraulic legs. The whole thing seems to be built to be moved, and it seems pretty kind of a bit worn down. And you come into land, and there's a couple landing pads, most of which seem to be empty, but you land on one, and you actually land on the pad, and the pad then begins to move, and you realise the pads are all empty because there's a big hangar, and it actually brings the shuttle into the hangar on this pad.
Aha, the Elite Dangerous.
Yeah,
Wait.
it's kind of Elite Dangerous style. It actually shifts the shuttle into a hangar. As it seems that
Cool.
everything here seems to be built around a similar system.
As we're going down, is there any lakes nearby?
Not nearby, as it appears to be sort of on a bit of, like, on deliberately, by the look of it, on flat ground.
Okay.
Like a ways from any water, but you could get one with a very quick hop in a shuttle. Essentially, you could get to one if you wanted to. You could probably hike to one. It's a couple miles away, like a mile or two away. You see one. Sorry, fucking miles. There's my Britishness showing. It's like 3 kilometers away.
Cool.
But yeah, you come down and obviously you have to sort of request permission to land, and they grant it without question. And the shuttle's pulled into this hangar, and it seems to be sort of like a private hangar, kind of like a car park, like storage type deal. It's got its own compartment, and you notice immediately there's huge advertisements on the walls. At this point, for all sorts of various stuff, mostly seeming to be a few alcohol type, like liquor and that kind of stuff. You also know a few that seem to be focused around mining equipment, supplies. You also see like a local store or two advertised. It seems to be tailored towards the people who would live here. Lilo, you want to say
so there's
something?
no like male bold hair, shaving cream or whatnot, just to make sure people have always got their hair.
Doesn't appear to be anything like that.
Quick question.
Yes.
Are we still in the Wengzai car system?
No. Sorry, I should move you on the map.
Can you move? Thank you.
Yes, it's very small. You only moved like a couple. Why? Yes.
What's the number of the system?
The number on the system. Let me bring it up. Where is it? Yeah, I'll put it in chat 'cause I don't know how to fucking spell this.
Cool.
Fair point.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck you'd spell this. Synefe, I guess.
Sunny.
Synefe, something like that.
Sunny Fete.
F560.
Lexie.
And then
Lexie?
this, I should put it actually.
Yeah.
Access.
Hi. Captain. Can we get some money for breach supplying?
What are you resupplying?
Explosives, because we're in a mining facility and miners always have explosives, and it's a good place to buy them.
Let me think about it, but quite possibly. Okay.
And your planet would be A50 Synefe, F560.
But I'm not against it, but there will be rules on how much you are allowed to buy,
Sounds like a good
because
idea.
I am not letting you buy 2 shipping crates worth.
Oh,
Of nukes.
I mean, nukes aren't that. As long as you have the right materials, then that's hard to make.
Okay, I am now.
You are
more
not
concerned.
allowed to make new.
Well, I don't suspect we found uranium here, so no worries. Or plutonium.
Oh, you never know.
You're never allowed to make nukes. They are highly illegal, and I do not want to deal with that again.
Again?
Wait, was
Again?
it? No, wait, never mind.
Again?
Never mind. That wasn't this character.
Yeah, he's thinking of a different campaign. And also, those weren't nukes. Those were Oblivion warheads. That's different.
Oh, were they?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oblivion's a bit different.
Yeah. Okay.
Antimatter.
Damn.
Oblivion are antimatter warheads.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole some. They stole.
We didn't steal some, we just acquired some.
You fucking stole them out of a warehouse
I mean,
from terrorists,
Do you
but still,
happen to be lying
We just
around?
acquired
Really?
some.
they stole them off terrorists.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually remember that.
Yeah.
We only acquired them.
First campaign that ever happened. Yes, so... what's your plan, guys? You step out into this large sort of hangar space. There's a door that kind of like clearly leads off towards, kind of, I guess,
No
the rest
security?
of this mining area. It doesn't appear to be any.
Okay. I'll get the quick map, effectively, of
Yeah.
the system.
You ping the sort of, the local mainframe, and it pings back a map, and as well as, like, notably a bunch of advertisements that seem to be embedded into it, which is wonderful. But you get a map of the whole area. There seems to be a sort of not too far outside the hangar area. There's like a quote common area where there's like because you're on top of this big rig, so they've actually got a bit of area where there's sort of a bit of plant life, almost like a park, and it's got kind of like sort of shops and stuff around it. And then there's some office buildings. They're like high rises essentially off to one side, and then they're sort of off towards like a more residential area. And like you see that there's clearly an area where it's like it's shops and stuff, but it's more like tailored towards not people who are coming here. Not that there's many, obviously, but like one or two shops here and there that seem to be focused around the people who'd actually live here, the kind of specialty stores. And then it's like, you know, areas for people to live and families to live and stuff. And
is there any place where you can kind of rent or buy like a hover bike or kind of something like that, like a
you can head down to the garage. It's not listed, but you especially would be like relatively well aware that if you land at a sort of a colony like this and you head down to
the garage, you can pay someone.
You can probably just like borrow someone's fucking bike for the day. You know, it's not that uncommon. And oftentimes, obviously, they wouldn't advertise it. Well, actually, sometimes they do, but oftentimes it wouldn't be advertised. But you could head down and there'd be a rental facility for a hoverbike or something like that.
Would there be somewhere that could fix our table?
Unlikely it's a place like this, because it would probably need like to rip out much of that, most of that room, and or most of the stuff along that wall and replace it.
That's going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing you need to do in a dry dock.
Right.
Quick patch on that table
anything...
might be more worth doing.
Is there anything that pops out to Lexie that could be interesting on the map?
Nothing like spectacular. It's sort of a pretty basic mining colony. That there's nothing amazingly spectacular. There is notably a bar.
Yeah.
There's like I don't know, like a hardware store, there's like a clothing store. There's nothing immediately sort of strikes you as nefarious or seedy or anything interesting, particularly.
Can I see a bank somewhere on the map? Is there a bank?
There doesn't appear to be a bank here, not a physical one.
And a non-physical one?
Well, there's like ATMs and would it be an ATM?
Okay.
There would be basically it's like credit points, but there isn't an actual bank here.
Okay.
So
Okay, guys, see you later. I have something to do, and Ray is going to go to one of them.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there'd be one outside the bar. There'd be one outside one of the convenience stores, and there's also a sort of a freestanding little building that seems to be built to have like a credit point in it.
Which one is the closest?
Would be the freestanding one. It's quite close to the entrance to the hangar.
Okay, then. Yeah, Ray would go to that one.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you head over to this little building, and it's kind of like just basically a small hut with an ATM in it, where you can get cash out. You could also put credits into it and convert them to digital. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Where's Lilo gone? Ray?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, there's something secret, Tony.
Yeah. She basically she heads over to like go to the credit place.
I'm just gonna Lexie, can I get some of the ship funds for ship maintenance?
Sorry?
Can I get some of the funds for a resupply?
Cut out again.
Can I get some money for the supplies?
Oh, those supplies. How much would it be?
How much would it be, Yargon?
What are you trying to get?
He's trying to get a crate of basically explosives that, like, basically plastic explosives that is used for mining. Like, what would you expect that money?
A crate of mining explosives. You're looking at maybe 1,000 credits.
1,000 credits, something like that would.
Here's 500. And if it's more than that, I want proof.
Aye. Back in. Here walks up.
Okay. So where you headed? Down to the sort of the what you call it area where they've got all the equipment and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Where, like, work area, kind of.
Yeah. It's most of the facility. Obviously, it's this huge area. It's in the lowest part. You have to go down through, and it's this sort of a huge like area where they're working on all these this equipment, and you can head down and go
try to
look
find
for someone.
Yeah, someone that is, shady enough to sell some of the explosives that he don't need.
Yeah. I mean, as you head down, you find there's you head down to it, and you come into sort of this like gantry-way, it's like metal grating essentially over, and you overlook over most of the huge like hangars where they've got all this massive mining equipment. Some of it's bigger than your ship, which these guys are working on. It's big stuff, and you can relatively quickly find essentially like an overseer type guy who deals with like inventory and that kind of stuff, and.
What are they actually mining here? I guess we would know that.
They appear to be mining for metals here, and it appears to be common metals essentially. So, iron, nickel, tin, copper, that kind of stuff.
Gonna walk up to the overseer and be like, "Hey,
Yep, we're gonna do for you."
I was wondering if I could buy some supplies of you. We have a ship out in orbit and all we need to resupply.
Oh, supplies, yeah. What are you looking for?
A bit of small amount of metals. Need to top up and some explosives. Do you have any leftover explosives?
Yeah, we got a few left over. A few batches we can scrape together from our last import, I suppose.
What are you using, by the way, for detonations?
Well, I can't really tell you that. We got some company stuff that they brought in.
Oh, the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, chemically it's essentially a plastic explosive, but they've got some fancy detonation systems that they brought in, which are supposedly reusable, but half the time the damn things don't work.
Can I get how much would you want for like a crate of that?
The crate of detonators.
Well, a crate of explosives and detonators.
Explosive detonators. Yeah. I mean, depends. How much are you looking for detonators wise? Got a number in mind? Couple hundred. Yeah.
I have like say 400 credits worth of explosives and that.
400.
Then add like 50 of other assorted metals. A bit of copper, a bit of iron, a bit of...
I can probably get you. You want raw or processed metals?
Preferably processed.
Okay, yeah, we got a refinery plant, so we can do that. All right. Well, I can get you a minor crate, I'd say, by standard units.
Yeah.
For about That'll be about 500 credits if you can do that.
Ah, man, my captain is kind of a bit of a stickler, and I just have 450.
Oh, I know the feeling. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
I'm still tempted to change that to convince, but then it's con, and so is constitution.
10.
10. Well, it's only 50 credits. I know the feeling, but yeah, all right, I can do you that.
Thanks, mate.
You got a shuttle up top, or do you want to collect them?
Yeah, I got a shuttle.
Sure.
Just
Well,
I send them where it is.
I'll have one of the lads deliver it up there then.
Super
Yeah.
wonderful. Do you know if I can rent a hover or like a land transport, a hover vehicle, or what are you using? I had.
Yeah, we got a couple of all-terrain speeders. You could, if you
How
got,
much will that cost me for like an hour or two?
you won't be able to get one off me, I'm afraid. But they're actually private owned by the guys downstairs, so feel free to head down. You can probably ask one of them. Just don't, you're liable and all that nonsense. Don't get crushed by anything.
And I just want to head out to the nearest lake. It's been a while since I've been down the plains.
Nah, yeah, sure thing. Well, yeah, if you go down, he like directs you basically how to get down and gives you one of the guys to talk to. And, yeah, you head down and you can you see that there's like a similar system to what happened with your ships, but on a much smaller scale, with essentially these like 1-seater and 2-seater land speeders and essentially some effectively pickups equivalents. Have like a big flatbed on them and some like work equipment and shit. And yeah, you can head down there and basically you can get one off the guys for like, if you only want it for a couple of hours, you can get it for like 10 credits.
Yeah.
Because essentially these guys are just pocketing the money for it. They're just renting it out to you. So yeah, you can get it like 10 credits.
10 credits, cool. So I have an additional 40 credits. Cool.
Nice.
And just gonna send to Lexie. Got explosives kind of for a bit, and for just 500, perfect number. I managed to talk him down. You got a bit of metal as well, just a bit of it on what we are low on. I'm heading out to, this is also out to everyone. I'm heading out to the nearest lake with a vehicle that I've rented to take a bath. Does anyone wants to join?
Go off on the hover vehicle. No, I'm alright. I'm off to the pub.
Oh, then I'm heading off.
No takers? Alright. Okay, so probably not going to be much of a problem for you. Go ahead and make a dexterity check to sort of...
Oh, I was muted.
Oh, you were muted.
Sorry.
I thought I heard you talking.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, like, if we're in the black market region, I want to see if there's any Priorify related things. Like, if there is anything even that looks like a mock-up of something, like a fake version of a Priorify thing. I still will be interested. I just want to see it.
Right. I mean, you're not in black market area just yet.
Right. Okay. Well, even if it's the market area, just anything related to books or anything like that.
Sure. Okay. 1 second though. Hex,
Yeah.
go ahead and make a dexterity check to try and pick up basically piloting this thing. Okay.
Well,
you don't damage it or anything, but it does take you a little longer than you'd hoped to get used to actually piloting it. And you don't, but you take it a bit carefully, even for Kit.
It's a human-sized, and
yeah, it's
not human-sized.
It's a bit awkward. You have to sort of like really kind of scooch down. You like can't quite see over the over the steering wheel, but you have to kind of like look through it. And if you turn too,
so cute. Okay.
You have to stick your nose through the steering wheel to see. And if you like turn too hard, you're gonna like So it's a bit difficult.
Turn your head.
Like about 50 minutes in, he's like, fuck this, and takes out like a couple of grenades.
Oh,
okay.
And strapped them to his to the underside of his boot, so you can reach the pedals easier.
Yeah, that makes it that makes it way easier. And suddenly you can pilot this thing with basically no issues. Yeah, should have thought of that.
God.
It's like a equivalent of an explosive booster seat.
We still have this again on our ship.
I mean, there's a way of getting an injector if needs be.
One form of injection. So yeah, break too hard and you're like, well.
I just see the pin just dangling.
It ensures you don't crash into anything, because if you break too hard, it explodes. The front blows off to keep you from hitting anything. But yeah, you managed to take this
You
out.
land 4 feet behind the crash.
Yeah.
Basically, is just gonna chill around at the lake for like an hour or so, and just kind of swim and remind himself of better times.
Well, I pressed the mute button and that happened. Yeah, you head out. It's really cold. Much colder than Freya, which is not great, but you know.
I also have fur, so it's.
Yeah, it's right, and yeah, you make it out to one of the lakes, and you sort of just chill there for a while and enjoy life a bit. During that time, what's everyone else doing? Lilo.
Well, you know what I'm doing.
You wanted to go to the bank place, and then what? To the
after I heard Kit and Charlissandra it was speaking, I'm just turning on the voice device, talking to Charlissandra. I'll be there in a second, and Ray's going to the pub too.
Okay. That was Lexie that said that.
That was me.
Oh, it was you?
Yeah.
Lexie? Oh, sorry. I'm joining Lexie.
Okay.
Thanks,
I mean,
Ray. I've only been with you for a couple of months, and you don't even know my name.
She is literally our captain.
Charlissandra would probably ask.
The one important person.
Charlissandra's going as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So the rest of you are heading over to the pub and to the bar. And Seraph, what are you doing? You're looking.
I'm just gonna be like scavenging for like pre-order anything that gives me a lead to something else.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check, investigation.
Investigation. I actually just recently got proficient in it.
Nice.
So that's gonna be nice. 1 second, I just need to check what it is right now. Where did it? I believe I boosted it to 2 and I became proficient. I know I have boosted it to 2 proficient. So yes, submit, 2, submit. Doesn't matter.
Nice. Okay.
That
is
really bad.
Yeah, you guys aren't rolling too good today. So, yeah, you look around, but it doesn't seem that they're selling anything like that you can find here.
Right.
As you you have a look around for like an hour or two, but you can't find anything. You sort of browse various shops.
Right.
Doesn't seem to be anything of the like.
Would there be any AI-related stores?
Nothing specifically to the tailors to AI.
Okay.
There's not a body shop here.
That would be nice.
Right.
For myself, into Transformer.
That's a point actually. They do have a CE what do you call it? A CE a big CE office here, critical engineering, and you see an awful lot of stuff has the critical engineering logo on it. It seems as though they might be sponsoring this whole place. Which is
Would that be helpful to me?
Not particularly. It's just they are one of the big engineering firms. They build ships. They build. They're one of the big 3 megacorp, big 4 megacorps, and they're notably just around the place. They don't really do any archaeology or anything like that, so it does strike you that it's not particularly unusual that you don't see anything like that around here.
Right. Wait. Do they handle hardware and software, or just hardware, or just software?
Both. Well, they do. They have branches that branch out all sorts of various different markets. Think like how Yamaha do like engines for boats and guitars and motorbikes. It's kind of like they branch into all sorts of things. C is kind of similar. They branch into all sorts of things, but like they do kind of mainly focus on the big hardware and software, and like they build ships for the Navy and that kind of stuff, and they also do all sorts of things like they probably built this mining platform and
Right.
that kind of stuff.
So if we were to like bribe one of the employees to keep their mouth shut and try to help us for, let's say, some storage devices we have, they could potentially help us.
They might have this facilities to do that. Maybe.
Right.
I mean, the people who work here don't work for CE, essentially. CE
Right.
just, build all the
Sponsors on.
well, they basically just built like the things. It's like
Right.
they built the building, but they're not the people who run the shop.
Right.
If
Fair.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like they built the building, and they made the clothes, and all the stuff in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
yeah, you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
But you could definitely try. They might have some of the stuff here, although this place seems to be very focused around mining, for obvious reasons.
Fair.
So the rest of you at the bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Empty.
You head into the place. It's called the Deep Dive. It's not empty, but there's not many people in. It seems to be a relatively like a dimly lit kind of place with not a whole lot of. Yeah, it doesn't see much through traffic, at least during this kind of time of the day. There's one or two people sort of like chilling and having like food, having like breakfast and stuff. Because it's actually really early morning here. Well, not really early, but it's early morning here. And so they seem to be like basically having a morning pint. It's those people, or maybe it's people who've just come off the night shift. But there's a couple people in. It does seem to be kind of the atmosphere of, though, it's end of shift and it's early morning, so people are probably heading to bed shortly and that kind of time. You get that kind of feel from it.
Are they all just sort of people you would imagine are miners? Like none have got like state businesses.
It looks a bit like that. They're not so much miners, but engineers and technicians by the look of it mostly. But yeah, I mean, there's a few odd looking characters, but nothing that strikes you as interesting particularly. They're sort of hard hat and yellow jacket type guys, most of them. But the bartender, so the lark man, sort of looks up at you guys as you come in. Yup, pal, anything I can do for you?
Get a round for everyone, please.
Alright, that'll be, and you sort of like head counts, and there's 4 of you going in? Yeah, well, that'll be, yeah, there's 4 of you, yeah.
3 there's drink though.
Oh, right, yeah, Ray, are you drinking? You muted, Lilo.
I'm muted, yes. Yeah, right, definitely drinking, but she needs grass, of course.
Okay, he looks at you kind of like questioningly, which is not common, it's as if to ask if you're drinking as well. Lilo, yeah, Ray, and he's like, alright, that'll be 200 marks for yous. And
I'll send that over to him.
yeah, he takes that and it starts, well, it's a bar account, and he basically pours you some drinks and puts 4 drinks out.
Thanks, Cap.
Alright, you're paying for the next one.
And
And,
also
we'll-
he puts a shot of grass down for Ray.
Thank you.
I would imagine we just go.
What?
Is there a booth or anything that we can get?
Oh yeah, you can get both. Yep. It's not particularly busy, as I say. You can sort of grab one if you want, and yeah, sort of in the corner. Sure. Yeah,
Guys.
you guys sort of take a corner booth, and you can see out over the whole place. There is noticeably, like, over the course of the next sort of 5-10 minutes, you notice that there's like quite a few people, or seem to be leaving. It seems to be that you've just caught the tail end of the people being here. So sort of heading out.
Yeah. Right then, guys, what's the next move here?
I mean, we found the hard drives.
We found the hard drives, so we've got nothing off the hard drives. And the question is, where can we get the stuff off the hard drives? Because So far, all we've done is melted a table.
I mean, I haven't done that.
You're right. And the person that did is not here. And he's going to have a bill soon, probably. So,
I mean, I have no idea about engineering or digital stuff, so you guys should decide that.
yes, but I'm thinking the people who would likely be able to do stuff is the dodgy people back at Capital Spire. You know them.
Hmm.
Them. Dealing with them, probably not a good idea. But who knows? I think we need a day off, and tomorrow we have another try over the next couple of days. If that doesn't work, go to Capital Spire and speak to them. Or any
I
best
mean-
suggestions.
As far as I understood that, we have a couple hundred tries.
Not necessarily. Because it's possible that we need to get data off multiple drives at once.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Who knows? When we do this next time, though, we're not going to leave the hard drive on a table that we can't replace overnight. So we might get data off of it. Oh, yeah.
Ray's taking the shot and the zip of her drink.
Yeah, it's not bad, actually. Surprisingly quite good.
Does it have a hint of coconut to it?
It doesn't, no.
No.
Not lunchbox material then. Oh,
So I thought
Right.
everything in this world had a hint of coconut to it.
that's only lunch bars.
It's only lunch bars.
We should
Conveniently.
watch out, Kit doesn't place it on a stack of C4 or something.
Oh god, I hadn't thought of that. Why do you always make my life even worse? Oh god.
I mean, right now he's not at the ship, so everything should be fine.
Yes, but he's buying more explosives.
He's what?
Why did you allow that?
Why did you allow that? Why?
I didn't think.
Clearly.
Oh, my hair. For a wee bit.
Okay, Ray's taking another zip. A
Okay.
big zip.
Yeah.
Lexie downs hers and gets one.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, Ray, that's more effective if you don't drink the grass.
They're 50 marks each, by the way.
Yeah, I'll mark that down for me.
Which
I
is,
don't want to
How
fall
much
on-
is one mark in credits?
it's 1,000th of a credit.
Okay.
50 marks
Charles,
is roughly equivalent to like a fiver in real life. Like 5 quid.
Charlissandra will down some too.
Quick
Sure.
question to the DM.
Yo.
Wouldn't I fall unconscious as soon as I don't drink grass?
Yes. If you hadn't taken the grass shot first, then yes, you would.
Okay. Just to make sure.
Does stop you thinking about Kit for a while, though. Takes your mind off things.
I wish I could do that.
Not today. I'm still on a planet I don't know.
Welcome to the job.
I think I've done that job longer than you.
Quite possibly. Oh god. Right. So, any other suggestions on what we need to do, or just we're ready to have a good time tonight?
As you say that, a
It's
food
off.
menu, like holographically pops up above the table.
Drink menu?
No, it's no drink menu there. Just food.
No, I
You know-
see that just quickly to see if they're listening into the conversation.
Ah, yeah, no, it doesn't.
We could play Jenga.
What about we get drunk first and then play Jenga?
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Sure. Right then. What food is there?
I mean, various things you don't recognize the name of.
I look for the weirdest looking food name.
Yeah, you can find like cooked and like roasted, locally like it notes locally sourced next to all of them. but it does seem to be that they've caught or farmed something here. There's a few things that seem to be like relatively standard, like you can get like burgers, but the meat in them is some creature you've never heard of.
Is it a creature I would know?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It seems to be something indigenous to here. There are a few things that are like essentially galactic standard. Like obviously you can buy lunch bars, but you can also, of course you can, but you can also get like like hot dogs. You can get pizza. You can get some basic stuff from like relatively traditional food.
Can you get chocolate?
Yeah.
How much for chocolate?
No, you wouldn't be able to get chocolate here. Actually,
Aww.
you'd be able to get. You could get like chocolate at a local store, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But not right like here because this is the bar.
Right.
That's
That's it. Weirdest thing on the menu and order that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's let's see. It's a stew that seems to be made of 3 different locally sourced like animals. No idea what they are. But it's a meat stew basically, and it's apparently served in a boot.
In a boot?
What?
Yeah, it's apparently it's a boot meat stew.
I'm looking forward to this.
Which is apparently a local tradition. And it actually comes with a brief description of it. And it's like it's a local tradition, and apparently the local tradition is that you fill they fill the boot, you have your thing, and then you then refill the boot without like washing it or anything. You then fill the boot with basically beer.
And do a shoey.
And then you drink that, and then
Can you do a shoey?
yeah, you do a shoey. And that's apparently a thing.
I know they're taking the piss, but fucking I'll order it.
Okay. Is anyone getting anything more sane?
Ray is just going to order like a stew or a broth or soup or something like that. Whatever is that she knows. Also, she's going to order another round for everyone. It was 200 marks?
200 marks, yeah. Your meals are going to be about 70 marks each, or something, roughly.
Right.
You can get like basically like a vegetable, like essentially the equivalent of carrot coriander like soup, like real cheap, or like tomato soup or something like that if you want to get something.
Is there something with
familiar.
meat, like a stew or something?
Yeah, you could get one like that. You could get one with synth meat as well, which is effectively tofu. But it's a sort of it is the galactic sort of base meat that's used in Omnia. It is called synth meat, and it's grown in a lab, and it's kind of regarded as effectively kind of shit, but it's just sort of meat that kind of doesn't really taste of any particular animal. But it's meat substitute that is readily available throughout the galaxy.
Ray's just going to take a normal stew with normal meat with nothing special in it.
Yeah, so basically you go for the bland option. It's a synth meat stew. A synth meat stew or soup, I suppose. Broth, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going for, Charlissandra? Anything particular you want to look at?
Something with meat in it.
Yeah. Okay. A similar sort of thing. Something you know, or you can be adventurous.
Adventurous.
Okay. Yeah. You pick like a roasted like local animal. You could do that.
Before the new drinks are coming, Ray is downing her drink.
Okay. Yeah. You down yours.
Lex will also down hers at the same time.
She
Sometimes
already
he's downing
had.
a drink, Lexi's downing it.
She already did that, I thought.
I know, but she got another one.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So you guys, eventually, your boot of stew arrives, Lexie, and along with the other food.
Boot?
Oh, for fuck's sake, Frick.
While I'm eating it, is the barman laughing or anything? Just checking.
No, he doesn't seem to be paying you particular attention. But like notably, it comes in this boot. It's clearly not an actual boot. Mostly because it does appear to be made of glass, or a glass-like material, like Pyrex or something like that. And it seems to have what is a sort of a relatively good like meat stew. But it does seem to be made of 3 different animals. There's 3 distinct ones. One of which seems to have this sort of bluish meat, and the other 2 are kind of like your regular kind of brownish meat. And it's kind of been like garnished, I guess, with 3 eyeballs and like little like mint leaves in the top. Sort of on the top.
I start with the eyeball.
Yeah, you bite into it and
It's a wee hard thing in the middle.
it's not. No, it's actually really soft and juicy, and it's
Alright, so it's not like a fish eye then.
no, it's actually not bad.
Right.
Enjoy your meal.
Oh, I will. I am. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Oh, wait, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. 2 seconds. It's a song called Shui.
Oh.
That's it.
But yeah, you get this, and you have your sort of thing, you have your meal. So, you guys are effectively just gonna spend the evening here and eat and drink and be merry.
Yeah.
Or is there anything particularly you want to do?
I'm going to order as soon as anyone has downed his drink. Ray's going to order another drink or another round for.
Okay, yeah. Again,
2 seconds. I need to roll something.
200 bucks.
Because if you're doing that, let's do an endurance check, shall we?
Yeah, it'd be
And
interesting.
after 3 hours, Kit will come into the bar as well.
Yeah, Kit joins you after a while.
Is he still walking on the?
Okay.
I assume not.
Lexie gets through about 6, I would say, or 7, and then gets a bit drunk.
Yeah.
Like,
These
a
are
bit drunk.
these are effectively like a light sort of like beer or ale. So yeah, you get through quite a few before you get absolutely fucking hammered. So, Seraph, are you going to be joining them?
At some point, yeah. I guess.
Okay.
He doesn't really drink, but yeah, sure.
I imagine Charlissandra, being a dragon, is able to hold her liquor quite well.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
you're
is.
pretty good at holding. Actually, no, you're a draken. You don't hold your liquor very well.
Really?
Yeah.
No, she is, I think.
Yeah, she's a draken, so she doesn't hold her liquor well.
Freyans are the worst.
No,
yeah,
Freyans are the best. They hold their liquor the best. It's then Freyans,
Oh,
Terrans,
yeah.
Drakens, Delark. It's a bit misdirected.
Okay, turn the list around. I'm sorry.
Okay, never mind then.
Sorry, there is actually reason behind that, but I won't get into it because it's the biology of why we evolved the ability to handle alcohol in the first place, and it's nerd shit. You evolved on the
Where's
planet.
Frank get done with?
Let's see. Let me roll any
It's so
something.
that we could eat rotten fruit, or rotting fruit.
Right.
And the Drakens come from an arid planet, so there's less trees, less rotted fruit. So you just didn't really evolve that as the same. And the Friends came from a much more jungly environment, so they evolved it to a much stronger degree.
Is that your
My back.
attempt at an endurance check or something?
Hmm.
Oh, you do quite well. You definitely do better than the captain. Well, actually,
I've had
yeah,
a
no,
long
you do better than the
day!
captain. Crit fail or crit success. Yeah, you do better than the captain.
What are you guys rolling for again?
Endurance to see how much they can drink before they start getting
Okay.
sloshed. Basically,
Right.
just pretend Gav's here.
Yeah.
So, I think as you guys spend the evening merry and drinking and sort of enjoying the evening, I think that's where we're going to take our break, and we'll come back in a little bit and pick up. Yeah, so we'll be back in a moment.